Sponsorship of Cathay Pacific Airways. I'm talking about Bart Cummings. He's won 11 Melbourne Cups and 6 Caulfield Cups and now 4 Moonee Valley Cups. And Frightening has raced his way into the Cup now with a legitimate chance. Legible, well, she went a long way from home and was left a sitting shot, and she hung on pretty well. And probably County Tyrone has got third, but they were often running at about the 600 here. Legible and Frightening has got her as we stop it here, and let's have a look. Here's Frightening for Greg Childs and for Bart Cummings. Legible, and I want to show you Mr. Prudent. That's the horse that Damien is going to ride in the Melbourne Cup. So Frightening here, about to take over.
Classic ride by Greg Childs. Even if you go back further than that, Bruce, he just stalked Legible the whole way, and he just outstayed Legible there, I think. The mare just struggled to run the mile and a half.
49.5 kilos, Damon. She cruised to the lead, and at one stage it was going to win by 4, but you're right, she started to paddle too far out from home to be happy about that for next week.
Yeah, you couldn't have been happy. As you said, you couldn't put enough on her at the 600, but you go another furlong, and Frightening was just breathing down her neck, and he just outstayed her in the end.
County Tyrone is third, and fourth is Another Warrior. What about Mr. Prudent? He's probably run 7th or 8th, which is he was third last year. He's the widest horse in the screen as we look now.
He was under pressure a fair way out, Bruce, but he stuck to his task really well, and he's probably been only beaten about 3 lengths, so goes well for the 2 miles at Flemington.
And Another Warrior having his first start over 2,500 metres, he's fought on really well as well, because he wasn't that well weighted today, Another Warrior.
Well, Greg Childs has got one of the great modern records in the Cox Plate. 7 rides, 2 wins, and hasn't finished further back than 4th, except when he got relegated on Let's Alone. And today he's won the Cup, and he's with John Letts.
Greg, what about that, the Cathay Pacific Gold Cup and at Moonee Valley? What a great win by Frightening.
Yeah, it was a good one. Good staying effort. Bart's got this horse really going well, and Reg and Joe, they do all the work. The horse is just coming right at the right time.
Greg, we did see him last time out. He drew bad at Caulfield and he won. Today he drew inside. He's a great big horse. Were you worried about your inside gate before the jump?
I was a little, but I knew I had to be off and scouting out once I started making my run up the school, and we spoke about that, and I was in a position where I was able to get out and follow Legible up and push another horse out of my way to be able to track up and follow Legible. We had the advantage on Legible because we were always going to have the last crack at it. Yeah. Even though it only had a light weight, I was pretty confident of getting to it, and I got to it quite easily, and we won well.
October, November, 2,500 metres today, 3,200 next week. Bart Cummings, he just does it every time, doesn't he?
Yeah, Bart's a legend, and I'm pleased to be part of the team at the moment.
Congratulations, Greg, and a great ride.
Thanks.
Well, Doc, we talked about this last week, like Kingston Rule, after he won the Coonji, and we talked about the Cup, and you said you're not suggesting he'd win the Melbourne Cup. I wasn't at the time. I'm starting to think about it. He drops from 53 to 50. Now, Greg Childs can't ride him, Damien, so at 50 kilos, this would be a pretty good pickup for a jockey in the Melbourne Cup right now.
You're not wrong. If you're able to ride 50, I'd be straight on the dog and bone to Bart. You know, he may not... the question mark is there whether he can stay or not, but just the fact that he's trained by Bart Cummings is just a huge plus.
How remarkable is Bart? He's won more Melbourne Cups, twice as many Melbourne Cups as anyone, more Caulfield Cups than anyone, and today he's now on his own with 4 Moonee Valley Cups, Cathay Pacific Cups.
See, the forgotten statistic there, Bruce, Bart has Quinella'd the Melbourne Cup 5 times. That is an extraordinary figure.
Well, he's got Strasbourg as well in the Cup, and he may have another or 2, but right now, Peter, Bart is going to be there on the first Tuesday of November. That makes us all happy.
Yes, well, it's all very familiar that Bart's going to be there on that day, and he's with me now. Bart, that was some sort of Melbourne Cup trial.
Well, it's a good staying effort. That's all. All the test was to be whether he could stay, and he put that beyond doubt anyway.
3,200 metres the way he hit the line today, you wouldn't think would be a problem for him.
I hope not. I think he's all right.
How does he stack up with the horses that you've had in the past going into the Cups, Bart?
They're all different. This one's just on the way up. He's come good at the right time, and he's nicely weighted, so it is a handicap over 2 miles, so lightweights have got a bit of an advantage, you know, and he's just qualifying for the race, so it just worked out right at the right time.
And you've made a little bit of history today because you're the first man to train the Moonee Valley Cup winner 4 times.
Is that right?
Yeah, congratulations.
I've got to look ahead.
Thanks, Bart.
Isn't he the master of the... He's just irreplaceable. They should never run a Melbourne Cup without Bart having a horse in it, and we've got at least one here. He was asked about Lonhro, Bart. He said he's the best weight for age horse at the moment. They usually win this race, the Cox Plate, and that's saying it all. Bart Cummings, what a day for him. Frightening winning the Cathay Pacific's Airways Cup. Next up, the Carlton Draft Cox Plate.
the president of the Thoroughbred Racehorse Owners Association, Mr. David Lawrence. And David, you've brought along one of your friends.
Yes, well, he's a great pal, Crazy John, and the organisation are co-sponsors of the race today, which is
the Group 3 race, eh?
Yes, and we're very happy to have the organisation with us. They're very good sponsors, and Crazy's a good mate of mine, but this race is part of Queen of the Spring series. It's the Testarossa Troa Queen of the Spring series, and the winner gets a surf with that great horse Testarossa. So we're very pleased that everybody's here and that Crazy John is with us, and we've got a...
Being his usual crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
well, we've got a brotherly relationship already, yes.
Congratulations and good luck for race 8.
Thank you very much.
Just starting to rain here, Damien. 35, 40 minutes to the Cox Plate. Any chance of it impacting?
Not if it's only light rain like this, Bruce. You need some decent rain for it to change it, I think.
So correct weight there, a length and 3/4 by half a length. 2:38, about 2 seconds outside the record. The dividends frightening at $5.50 and $2. Legible at $1.60. County Tyrone, 13.40. Here's a good stage. Run placings in a lot of big cups now. Quinella, $7.10. Trifecta, $700. The Exacta, $18.70. Bart Cummings, one runner here today, and he's won the Cathay Pacific's Airways Cup. As we join Jim Wilson.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is the Cup's king, and he loves this time of year. He's just added his 4th Moonee Valley Gold Cup to the cabinet. Now, of course, the Cathay Pacific Airlines Cup for 2003. I'm talking about none other than JB Cummings, the master trainer, Bart Cummings. Well done, Bart. It's great to have Cathay Pacific on board, of course, for the Cathay Pacific Airways Cup for 2003. It gives me great pleasure to assist me in the presentation, the Moonee Valley Racing Club Vice Chairman, Mr. Jeff Webb.
Thank you. Firstly, I apologise for the fact that the weather is closed in half an hour before the Carlton Draft Cox Plate. But hopefully that will not detract from the race itself. And we've just seen a super stayers race won by a super stayer, trained by a super trainer who no doubt has bigger aspirations ahead. The race that we've just witnessed has been sponsored for the first time by Cathay Pacific Airways, and it's my great pleasure now to introduce Mr. Derek Morris, who is the Sales and Marketing Manager for Australia of Cathay Pacific, to say a few words and pass over the trophy. Derek.
Jeff, thank you very much. His Excellency, the Governor of Victoria, Mr. John Landy, Mrs. Landy, the Premier of Victoria, the Honourable Steve Bracks, the Chairman and Committee of the Moonee Valley Racing Club, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here today, and it's a pleasure to witness such a fantastic race that we've all just seen. Cathay Pacific has flown to and from Melbourne for close to 27 years now, and I'm pleased to say that tomorrow morning the connection with Melbourne, the events capital of Australia, and the rest of our network will increase as we increase to 13 flights per week. I would like to thank sincerely the organisers, the Chairman and Committee of the Moonee Valley Racing Club, and congratulate, of course, the winners of today's race. And if I may invite His Excellency, the Governor, to present the trophies. And I would also like to call up, representing the connections of today's winner, Tony Costas. Mr. Costas. Congratulations.
You can see the rain about now at Moonee Valley as we build towards the Carlton Draft Cox Plate after the Cathay Pacific Airlines Cup. And we look at the totes and the win pool over $1 million. Lonhro really solid at $1.70. That's the best if you shop around at the moment on the totes in Australia. Defar at $9.90, so he's under the 10. Fields of Omar getting out to $8.60, but look at him in New South Wales at 16. Clangalang, who's won a Derby and an Epsom in Sydney at $4.50 there, but $6.20 here. Natural Blitz much shorter in Victoria than anywhere else at 15. Paraka much shorter here. Shower of Roses, much shorter in Sydney than here at $17. And Zagalia, about the same all the way through. Well, Ken, a lot of interest in just how short Lonhro will start. The shortest price favourite since 1967 is Kingston Town at $1.67. Will he be under that?
I think he will be, Bruce. The bookies told me earlier, as I told you, that you get $1.70. You certainly can't at the moment. Bill Graham, one of the leaders of the ring, is betting $1.60. Alan Cleary, Simon Beasley, very big bookmakers have turned off the $1.60 and they're into $1.55. So I think at the moment, certainly, and probably for the rest of betting, that's as good as it gets. You can get $10 to Fire, $16 Fields of Omar, $5.50 Clang-a-Ling. I genuinely believe he's got a chance of beating Lonhro. I've backed him, but don't tell my wife I've wasted her money on him. $15 Natural Blitz, $40 Paraka, $13 Shower of Roses. She's a likely leader. And Zaglia is at $20. $1.60 the favourite, Lonhro. The only one seriously back to beat him is Clang-a-Ling at $5.50.
King Calendar there, the selections. Peter Donegan's going 1-5-4, Lonhro, Natural Blitz and Clang-a-Lang. Dr. Turf's selections are Lonhro, Clang-a-Lang and Natural Blitz. And Ken Calendar is going for Clang-a-Lang to beat Lonhro and Defier. Damien, what about the draw? Has drawn 2 from the outside in a small field. As we look at the start at the top of the straight, does that have any influence on this race?
Not this race, I don't. It shouldn't be a factor, Bruce, because you've got the likes of Paraka and Shower of Roses who are going to make it a genuine run race, so the field should string out and you shouldn't have any problem from that gate.
Damien, I know how focused you must be during the run, but what about the crowd noise? Does it get to you? Does it filter through?
You first notice that you're introduced to the crowd out the back there, and then when you walk through that tunnel and you're come out towards the track, the chills really start to get running down your back, and you've got to try and not get caught up in it and just try and block it out.
What about when you're straightened for home?
Oh, it's deafening. Yeah, at this place you really do hear it because, I mean, it comes down from the grandstand straight on top of you. Yeah.
Got a feeling you're missing it today, but you'll be back for Derby Day. That's okay. So many people here today in the 30,000 plus mark, and it's amazing. So many people are dressed up in Lonhro's colours.
If Lonhro has one Achilles heel, it might be the ladies. It seems like he's fairly popular amongst the fillies.
Very popular amongst the fillies, yes. He's
now,
beautiful.
Your entire wardrobe is in pink.
Yes, because I love Lonhro.
What do you like about Lonhro?
He's just got the biggest heart and he's courageous and I love him.
He glistens, he shines. And as I said, he's got a great courage, a big heart in him. And I think we all admire him for that.
And if he wins the Cox Plate?
I'll go mental.
I've got my plait, my shirt, my hat, my bag, my big O badge, my bangle, my earrings, and my knickers.
Your knickers are in Lonhro's cerise colours.
Yes, they are. I can't show you that, though.
Paddy, you're obviously a Lonhro man?
Oh, for sure.
Like the jockey very much.
Do you?
Yes.
Are you on his side?
I'd like to be on his side. Don't you dare put this on telly.
No, I won't. He won't go to heaven if he hears about that.
Oh, that's all right. Neither will I. And I speak English very well.
They're not quite Lonhro's colours, but we're happy to adopt you if you want to join the Lonhro fan club.
It's that's the favourite for the cup.
Yes, I will like it.
His ladies love him. Black Stallion, they love that. So do you think he might be cashing in on his value?
I think so, definitely.
Think it might work for you?
Yeah,
What a contrast, but it is Melbourne, that's for sure, and we're getting a couple of seasons here today. We haven't had summer, but we had a bit of spring earlier, and we're getting some winter right now. So a lot of rain about, but it has come pretty late in terms of affecting the track from a Carlton Draft Cox Plate point of view. We'll talk to John Letts when he rides Banjo out at the start, just to see what he thinks. Let's have a look at some of the key factors with Damien Oliver and Dr. Turf for this $3 million classic. We'll go back to last year. If Lonhro hadn't started last year, he'd probably be even shorter than the $1.60. This is the one thing now. He's struggling out the back. There he is in the cerise colours. Fields of Omar's inside of him, actually beats him home here, and the big four are away from them, Damien.
Yeah, you're right there, Bruce. I mean, a lot of people don't know. I had a bit of bumping duel with Lonhro early in the race on Fields of Omar, and maybe that being a stallion, that might have just put him off his game a little bit. I mean, that's what Darren's got to watch out for on this race, that he doesn't get caught up in any bumping duel with another horse and just keep Lonhro happy, and he should win.
And how relevant the fact that Lonhro, he sort of missed the start last year, half a length or so. That can't help.
Well, Darren said in the press earlier that he was a bit grumpy on the day. He didn't want to go on the gate, and he was just being a stallion. Maybe he just had an off day. I mean, realistically, on his form, that's the only way you're seeing getting beat today if the real Lonhro doesn't turn up. But if he does and he dominates his race like he has been, he should win.
To illustrate that, let's have a look at the form of the 3 horses that ran last year since the Cox Plate. It's staggering. I mean, Lonhro's had 11 starts for 10 wins and won over 2 million, and Fields of Omar and Defier have both done OK but struggled.
Of course, Fields of Omar has had injury problems, Bruce, and Defier clearly, he's actually had a bit of racing on rain-affected tracks this campaign as well, which he doesn't like, but he's also lost a bit of acceleration.
The Yalumba Stakes, 13 horses have won the double in the 1 year, the Yalumba and the Cox Plate. It's a good guide. You were involved in this race with Defier, Damien. You got a good feel for Lonhro here.
I did. Look, I put myself in front of Lonhro to give myself a better chance, I thought, but his turn of foot for me was just too good, Lonhro, this day, and I mean, quite clearly there, Lonhro is going better than Defier at the moment, but he did have a little improvement in fitness-wise, Defier, but just whether it's enough to turn the tables.
And worth saying that the Mamafai, who finished behind him, came out and won the Caulfield Cup, and of course, Distinctly Secret as well ran well, so form line's all right from the Caulfield Cup.
What's it like from the Epsom? No horse has won the Epsom Cox Plate double since No Home in 1959, I think it was, but it's only 3 in the whole history have done the double. Now, Clangalang, he doesn't accelerate here. He's in the yellow colours in about 8th place, about 4th from the right. Grand Army looks home. The thing with Clangalang, he can't quicken, but boy, he can roll on, can't he? He's strong.
He's a Derby winner too, Bruce, and as we speak now, this rain is getting heavier, and this could turn into a longer race and a 2,000-metre race, so that could come into his favour, and he did win the Derby on a soft track.
Certainly was, and he was very strong at the end of the Epsom too, Bruce. He's a good horse, Clangalang.
No doubt about that. We heard David Rafale talking about him earlier. We heard Darren Beedman too, sitting where you are, Damien, earlier in the day, and Simon Marshall has caught up with the other key players in the Carlton Draft Cox Plate.
Patrick Payne, Defier. Can he defy the odds? He's a bit of an underdog this year, but last year he ran a rip in second to Northerly.
Very true. If you look at his replay of last year's run, he was great, and Lonhro was disappointing. But it'd be fair to say he doesn't look like he's in the same form as what he was last year. But he's a great horse. Guy's a great trainer, and he'll be doing everything that he can to have him in tip-top shape on the day.
Is it a bit daunting going into the race knowing that you're up against Lonhro and Darren Beedman?
Yeah, it is. But then again, the pressure's off us. We can do our own thing, go out there and enjoy it, and just ride my horse to come home strong. So, he's a lovely little horse to ride, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I used to be the one getting stalked. Now I'm the stalker. There's no pressure on me. Zagali is an outsider, but I believe the horse can run over the top of them.
You're wearing the Cerise colours there, mate. The big black horse. He's going to be hard to beat. Darren will be wearing those same colours. How are you going to beat him?
Simon, it'll only be in the last 50. He's a very good horse, Lonhro, but I'll just bite my time, see what happens when the gates crash open, but I've got a bit of a game plan there.
What would you say to Darren if you breezed past him at the top of the straight? Ring-a-ding or clang-a-lang?
Bang, bang, bang. Here comes the clang.
It's getting heavier and heavier. This, you'd think Defier and Natural Blitz are the 2 horses that don't want it soft in any way, shape or form.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit against Defier because he does like a firm track, and with a few races having been run on this track now, and they've probably opened the turf up a little bit, it's going to get into it easier.
Corey Brown's had 2 rides in the Cox Plate and they've both finished last. I hate to say that, but are these things that weigh on a jockey's mind, that it's been a dud race for you?
Well, perhaps, but he will know he's no way around now. He would have liked the fact that he's had a couple of rides in it and just soaked in the atmosphere a bit and know what's going on in a race like this rather than coming into it for the first time.
$2 million to the winner here. It's high prizes. Look at Lonhro's stakes winnings. They're at 4.1 million already. He's number 11 on the all-time list. Sunlight and Northerly won 4 between them. No wonder they're up the top. But if Lonhro happens to win today, he goes past Octagonal he jumps from 11th to 4th on the all-time list.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, haven't we? This is just the big race for Lonhro, and I'm not even sure whether this rain suits him or disadvantages him, Damien. I'm just not sure. He has won in rain-affected going. He flopped in the Doncaster, I think, on a slow track, but carrying a lot of weight in a handicap on a slow track, not easy. So you have to forgive him for that one. But he has won weaker races on rain-affected going.
He has, and the fact that this race is won under weight for age conditions will suit him better than the big handicap as far as the wet track goes, because they've all got to carry a similar weight. He's not giving a lot of weight to other horses.
How uncomfortable does it get as a jockey in conditions like this?
It's not that once you're in the race you don't think about it. It's just probably before the race you might have 2 sets of goggles. You have to keep them under your silk so they don't fog up, and just your preparation. You may wear some gloves so the reins don't slip in your hands so much. So just your preparation before you go out in a race like this is probably a little bit more important.
Well, what a time for the jockeys. I mean, this race right up there with, Shane Dye we saw on the opener said, I've always wanted to win a Melbourne Cup. Cox Plate, my dreams have come true. And there's Paddy Payne, who, riding today, getting on Defy like he got on Northerly last year. I mean, first ride on Northerly, first ride on Defy.
And Paddy is a fine jockey. He's a classic jockey, perfectly suited to weight for age racing. He's a heavyweight, and he'll give Defy every chance.
Stephen King, Kingy, he's got the temperament and the pedigree to win this.
He has, and this rain, he does like the soft track fields of Omar, so this will be in his favour.
Just going back to Paddy Payne, Damien, he's another jockey who seemed to come back from overseas a different jockey. Like yourself a little bit, you learned a lot in England. You almost changed your riding style a touch. You sort of push out with your hands a lot more. And Paddy Payne changed as well when he came back from overseas. What do you learn?
It definitely puts a little bit more polish on you, and less opportunities you get over there. You have to make the most of your opportunities over there, whereas here you're riding every day, and it just does probably come a little bit like Groundhog Day.
Here's a feature of all these big races, the introduction of the jockeys. There's Corey Brown on Clang-a-Lang. Here's Kieran McAvoy. He was third on Viscount in that famous finish with you, with Northerly and also Sunline. Greg Childs, Damien Oliver and Kieran McAvoy there. National Willa will be next up. He hasn't ridden in it. Greg Childs, as I said earlier, has got the great record in the race in terms of the jockeys here.
Yeah, just getting back to Kieran there, I know he'd dearly love to run this race. He was a bit disappointed that year on Viscount when he got the bit of the squeeze between Northerly and Sunline. So I think he's got a sneaky chance in this race, Natural Blitz. He's got good form at the track, and he's a bit of the forgotten horse.
He was the horse that I was hoping was going to get a nice smother in the race, because he does have a paralysing burst. There's Natural Willa there. He's waving the crowd. Yeah,
Paraka, the international horse. Here's Chrissy Muntz, who was second on Defy last year, but he's on Shower of Roses, who, like Paraka, will probably show them a clean pair of heels out of the straight the first time. She likes the wet Shower of Roses. She can really handle it. And here's Greg Childs, 7 rides in the Cox Plate for 2 wins, 3 placings, a 4th on Sunline, and his ride on Let's Alone. Let's go to the national anthem with Lisa Edwards. good sport, isn't she, doing Lisa Edwards? Bad luck for her with the rain. Here's the mighty Lonhro. His weight for age record, 17 starts, 14 wins, 1 placing. It's very hard to find a gap in this horse's form line.
It just speaks for itself, Bruce, and if he can dominate this race and not find any trouble, he does look the winner.
Yes, he looks the winner to me too, because I just think his main danger, I'm not saying the track has been affected by this rain, but surely it's about to have some sort of impact on it. His main dangers aren't going to be helped by this rain, Bruce. Defy ran second last year, but he came off 3 wins in Sydney, including victories over Lonhro and a 5th in the Epsom. His form doesn't look as strong this year. Well, Damon, you rode him last start and you were saying he just doesn't quite feel as good as he did last year.
He's not. His acceleration isn't there like it was last year, and as we speak of this rain, it's certainly against him.
But Fields of Omar may be suited by it. He's had 2 big long spells in his career because of leg problems, Fields of Omar. Yeah. He beat Lonhro home last year. He is a quality horse. He's fresh.
He's the fresh horse on the scene, Bruce. That's a bit of the key. Last year I rode him in this race backing up after the Caulfield Cup, and he was a little bit flat. Whether he's in quite as good a form this year is the key, but he's definitely fresher for this race.
He did run well on the Toorak, but only having that many runs in the last 12 months, you just wonder whether he's just fit enough to win it. He's the wild card in a way, Clang. He's the 4-year-old, the Derby winner, the Epsom winner. He's unproven at weight for age, but he could make a giant leap forward today. You can't pop them young 4-year-olds in the spring, Bruce, because they haven't experienced weight for age racing. He's a high-class horse and clearly the danger.
If this is a staying test with those 2 mares running along in it, it will suit him.
Natural Blitz, he won the Fian here. That race has been a terrific guide over the years. A number of horses have done the double, including Better Loosen Up and Rubiton when you go back, and more recently Sunline and Northerly. And worth remembering, he did run second to Northerly in the Australian Cup. He is a terrific horse. He's got a paralysing sprint. I'd love to have seen him get a nice smother in the race. Another one who needs a dry track. OK, so Natural Blitz, probably the only horse you feel that has the same turn of foot as Lonhro's, whether he can sustain it. Paraka, bred in Argentina, has done all her racing in South Africa, trained by Andrew Boulding in England, owned in Australia. Look, really, 6 wins, 10 starts, never been beyond a mile. She's probably 100 to 1 chance, but she's interesting.
Yeah, it would be a miracle if she won, I think, with just what the task she's faced in the last year. You know, racing in South Africa, travelled to Europe, and then and coming out here and not race for so long to win one of our greatest races would be a uphill task.
She may have an influence in the race because she does go forward. It'd be interesting to see if she does put pressure on Shower of Roses, Dane.
Yeah, well, Shower of Roses is the other forward runner and maybe leader in the race. It's who's going to take it up here. They've had trouble holding up Paraka in her track work, so Chris Muntz might have to take a sit on Shower Roses. She is one suited by this soft ground. She has good wet track form.
Been some money for her too in the ring. We've just been told by Ken Callan, $1.65 Lonhro. And Zagalia, who was a terrific runner in the Caulfield Cup. You know, in her last 10 runs, she's had 9 different jockeys, Zagalia. Today, it's Greg Childs. It's her first start at weight for age. It would be a surprise.
Her run was good in the Turnbull, a similar sort of weight for age race, set weights and penalties. A good run in the Caulfield Cup. Whether she can back that good run up here is a question mark.
It's going to be difficult for her, particularly. She's a Zabeel mare, and I'm actually warming to her a little bit for the first Tuesday, Bruce, but I just don't think she's got the zip here.
That says it all, doesn't it? No certainties in racing. There is today. The big 3 will be back after this.